We're here today at the Center for Digestive Wellness, and I'm joined by two doctors from TriCities Gastroenterology, Dr. Jeff Fenyves and Dr. Stephen Fry. Thank you for being with us today. And we're talking about a subject that a lot of people have a little trouble with, and that's colorectal cancer. This is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. And we're talking specifically about colonoscopies. What is the number one reason that folks give you all for not wanting to do a colonoscopy?
Well, I think the biggest perception is the prep is going to be a hurdle.
Right.
You know, getting ready, the things you have to do for a day and a half before the colon.
And doctor, same for you?
Another common excuse is that I'm not having any problems.
Right.
So it's usually, if I'm not having a symptom, why should I have a colonoscopy?
And getting back to the prep. Prep is so important. I mean, when you go for a colonoscopy, you want to be able to find out everything that you want to find out as a doctor the first time you go in, don't you?
Well, sure. If they have polyps, we want to be able to find them, Chris. If they don't have polyps, we want to be able to give them a 10-year window if we can, so they don't have to do it again.
Right.
But that requires a good prep. Yeah.
Like you said, you've got 30 feet of intestine there. You're only interested in that last 6 feet, but
Exactly.
everything's got to be cleaned out.
Exactly.
And so that is not a fun process, but it's very, very mandatory, isn't it?
It is. It's very important. And if anything, the prep's gotten a little bit better. I mean, you still have to poop a lot.
Right.
But, you know, the way it goes in, the nausea pills that are available now, the way we divide it up, we get a much better clean colon without quite as much effort as 10 years ago.
And Dr. Fry, we were talking about it. A lot of people now, you know, the benchmark age used to be 50. Let's get everybody at 50, let's get them tested. And that's still a good rule of thumb, but there's actually a few more people that are actually coming forward and presenting with colorectal cancer earlier in life, aren't they?
That's correct. There's a recent study that said that 1 out of 7 people with colon cancer now is under the age of 50. So roughly 15% of the colon cancers that are occurring are under 50. Some of those patients, those individuals may have a family history, and that's what we need to tease out. We need to be better at asking people that are in their 40s about whether they have a family history and whether they should have an early colonoscopy.
And what are some of the other symptoms that if they're, say they're in their 40s, their 30s, and they have some symptoms, what are those symptoms that people are looking for that they need to get checked?
Well, symptom-wise, the patient could experience would be bleeding,
Right.
of course, but a lot of the symptoms are pretty silent. Anemia or iron deficiency that they can detect at the doctor's office.
But that family history is so very important.
Yes, it
If
is.
somebody in your family's had it, then you need to be a little more leery and get checked a little earlier.
Absolutely.
But we're still talking about, we've been talking about men for the most part here, but women and men, both at age 50, need to go and get that colonoscopy done.
That's a great point. Now, a lot of people don't realize that this is equal. Colon cancer is equal for men and women. There's just as many women die as men. They tend to die a little later or get colon cancer a little later. But at this point, we screen everybody starting at 50 unless they're high risk.
And this is an issue that race does enter into it. Black males especially need to get checked maybe just a little bit earlier.
Yes.
That's correct, age 45.
When you sit down and you start discussing with people about colonoscopies, you know, what are some of the fears, I mean, besides the prep, what are some of the fears that they come with you to say, do I really need to do this? I mean, lay some of those fears for folks.
Well, I think for a lot of people, besides what they've heard from their neighbors about
Right.
PrEP, and that may be 10 years ago,
Right.
some of them actually don't want to come because they're afraid that we'll find colon cancer.
Right.
They don't realize that what we're primarily doing at the Center for Digestive Wellness is removing polyps that are precancerous, and that way they never get cancer.
So it's a preventative measure all the way around.
Correct.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. We appreciate the time you took with us here today. It's not a procedure it's not a picnic, but it is something that everyone needs to do. It's a colonoscopy. If you're approaching 50, it's time to start thinking about getting one, whether you're male or female, and a great place to start is here at the Center for Digestive Wellness and the TriCities Center for Gastroenterology.
The preceding portion of Daytime was sponsored by